Good afternoon. Welcome and thank you for joining us for the National Conference on Housing Mobility. I'm Adria Crutchfield, Executive Director of the Baltimore Regional Housing Partnership, a nonprofit organization that administers the Baltimore Housing Mobility Program, serving over 4,300 households comprised of 8,000 children annually. We are delighted to have so many housing professionals and advocates, researchers, nonprofit leaders, and community members join us for a day full of all things housing mobility. Throughout the conference, you can share what you are learning on social media by using the event hashtag Housing Mobility 2021. Today, you will learn more about exciting new federal funding opportunities, expansions to housing mobility policies, and proven strategies for making a housing mobility program successful. As you and I know, housing is a human right. A home can provide stability and opportunity. It is the foundation for a life of high quality, and we are at a critical point in history where we can make transformative change to how things have been done, creating a more just and humane normal where housing is provided to all. Together, we can get closer to making this the reality. I'm hopeful that the needle is moving in the right direction sooner rather than later with the leadership we have at the helm of federal policy with the vision towards housing justice and equity. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce one such leader who I have admired for years, who has a keen understanding of the challenges public housing authorities face, the mechanics of voucher programs, and the goal of mobility programs in expanding housing choice for more families. Adrianne Todman is the 12th Deputy Secretary of the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. Deputy Secretary Todman served as the CEO of the National Association of Housing and Redevelopment Officials, NARO, from 2017 to June 2021. During her tenure, Deputy Secretary Todman improved the association's financial standing and business operations, created a member-centric culture, and advocated for funding and policies to preserve and develop affordable housing and help communities thrive. Before joining NARO, Deputy Secretary Todman served as the Executive Director at the District of Columbia Housing Authority from 2009 to 2017. At DCHA, Ms. Todman implemented a national award-winning model to house veterans experiencing homelessness, increased homeownership opportunities by 50% for low and moderate income families, and oversaw 12 concurrent large redevelopment efforts. She prioritized youth empowerment programs and workforce development and commissioned the first citywide needs assessment of public housing residents. Deputy Secretary Todman also served in several career positions at HUD, first as a manager of HUD's $500 million grant competition that focused on the redevelopment of distressed public housing sites, then as a policy aide in both the Office of Public and Indian Housing and the Office of the Secretary, where she worked with staff across HUD's programs on policy solutions and streaming implementation. As Deputy Secretary, Ms. Todman will work alongside Secretary Fudge to ensure that HUD has the staff and tools it needs to administer and provide oversight over programs critical to supporting families and to moving the country forward. Welcome, Deputy Secretary Todman.
Thank you so much, Adria. And I want to say that I was looking over my remarks and I realized that I'm really talking to family here. You know, you all are my people, my posse, the folks that I was honored to say was one of the soldiers in the fight when on the front lines in my previous capacities. So hello to my friends, hello to my family, hello to my colleagues. A very special shout out to some of the fellow folks here that I've worked with in leadership positions who are pulling this together. Thank you, Sunia. Thank you, Philip. I know that my current colleague, Peggy's on here. Thank you, Steve, and others. Just happy to be here back in the mix to talk to you. You know, when I received the invitation to join you, I was particularly thrilled, not just because of the relationship I have with this part of our industry, but also because of just what an amazing moment we are in our history right now as it comes to affordable housing programs. I know that there are many of you who are out there who have been in this space now for decades, like me and some others here, and who thought we would never see the day, that we would see such alignment on the passion and the intentionality of trying to make sure that there's more investments in affordable housing across this country, and not just talking about it and putting it into on paper, putting it on paper, but also really pushing hard to get it into reality. And it's one of the reasons why it is humbling, and I'm just honored to be part of the Biden-Harris administration during this once in a generation moment to really do a lot of investment across the spectrum, whether it is rental assistance, whether it is preserving our public housing, whether it's trying to make sure that we're helping first-time families get into their first home, whether it is our community development work, and something of particular interest, I know, to this august group, whether it is an infusion of dollars for additional vouchers across the country. These are all things that have been part of the president's Build Back Better framework that he discussed last week. And in leading up to that, I was just so proud to be working with the incredible team here at HUD in pulling together some of these concepts and helping make sure that the things that I know so much of us believing was on the table. And I got to tell you about this HUD team. I think back to now decades of HUD's team, and I cannot think of a stronger, more dedicated, amazing and thoughtful team than the one we have here at HUD. And that starts at the top. Working with Secretary Fudge has been just tremendous. She is a fierce leader. She is a wonderful person just to work with. She is laser focused on the things that are important, not just to HUD, but to the families and the communities we serve. And she fundamentally cares about this work, fundamentally cares about it. And I've seen when she has gathered us and given us the speech to go out there and do good, and just to a person, we are all thrilled to be part of her team, and I'm particularly thrilled to be working with her during this time in history. It's not been easy for any of us. This has been a particularly difficult year and a half. I know some of my friends and I would joke that we would just stop asking each other how we're doing. Those awkward moments, like it's just natural to say, how are you doing? Other than the pandemic and all that. But it has been challenging. And I got to say that when I think of all the industries that had to step up to the moment, clearly our frontline, our nurses, our doctors, our frontline responders, people who work in our grocery stores, people who are doing all our deliveries for us if we were fortunate to be able to work from home. People who were working with working to make sure that we were getting the vaccine that we have available to us now. And I would be remiss if I didn't remind all of you to, if you're not vaccinated, to go and get vaccinated, and when appropriate, get your booster shot. But really, no one really thought about folks who are providing housing and thinking through these issues as being on the front line. But I have a wonderful friend in the industry, John Mahane, who said to me, probably about last summer or so, and said to me, Adrianne, Hauser is at the front of the front line. If we're not on our job, if we're not making sure that our families are feeling safe inside of their home, if we are not making sure that we are doing as much as we can to keep our sites clean, and just bringing in the resources that we need, stepping up our game in terms of responding to the pandemic, if we're not doing that, then yeah, many of the families we're serving will be exposed to the coronavirus. And he was absolutely right. Those of you who have been working to help our families to get out of the streets, get out of shelters, and have a secure place, God bless you. Thank you so much. I mean, that work has saved lives, and that's not an overstatement. You have saved lives. And for those of you who are continuing to do this work, those of you who are looking at the resources that the president provided in the American Rescue Plan, both in terms of the emergency housing vouchers, but also helping to stand up the funds in our home ARP, thank you so much that this work now will pay dividends. And imagine what it will feel like when we are finally able, and our president believes it's going to happen, so I believe it's going to happen, when we are finally able to push the Build Back Better framework across the finish line. Let me tell you, it's an amazing time, and I want to give you my commitment that the team and I here at HUD are preparing. We're not quite sure exactly where things will end. You just never know until it's done, but we are preparing, and we are gathering all the operations folks, are working with the program office just to be ready, so that we are able to get our ducks in a row, to help as we all as a team work towards getting these amazing largesse of funds in affordable housing and community development out the door and into the communities that so very much need it. It is exciting work. And when I think about the impact that these resources and the hard work of the staff here at HUD will have in advancing issues around mobility, helping families who want to move into stronger, more resilient neighborhoods, creating more stronger and more resilient neighborhoods. These are all things that these resources will do. And I'm absolutely thrilled to be here to walk alongside all of you as we do it. One of the things that I'm also really excited about is not only are we looking at an administration that is, created a Build Back Better framework that you all see, but even looking at our bread and butter, our FY 2022 proposal, which was really strong in the areas that it needed to be, is also something that I'm very proud of. And even as we're talking through some of the issues, looking out to 2023 and sometimes beyond, just know that, and I'm here to tell you, just know that people are so committed. From the White House, here at HUD, our colleagues at Treasury, our colleagues at USDA, people are just so fundamentally committed to doing the right thing while we have an opportunity to do it. So I am honored to be here today. I wish I could listen into everything that you have to say, but there's some work to be done here on this side of the screen. But thank you so much for this invitation, Adria and others, Phil. Thank you so much. And I look forward to engaging with you in the future. And let's always stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deputy Secretary Todman. This is Sunia Zaterman. I'm the Executive Director of the Council of Large Public Housing Authorities. And Adrianne, in her long resume, also has the honor of serving as a Vice President of CLAFA. So let's just say she has been around the block. I share your enthusiasm about what awaits us and the game-changing resources and investment we're going to see. Thank you so much, Adrianne. Looking forward to the hard work ahead. And with that, I also want to thank my partners, PRAC and Mobility Works, in putting this conference on. This is a critical and important partnership for CLAFA. I think it's reflected in the registration in terms of the participation of housing authorities. Housing authorities are engaged and they're at the table. I want to thank our financial sponsors who have helped us put this on, and even more importantly, committed to fair housing and mobility issues, the National Association of Realtors, and particularly their Black Home Ownership Collaborative, a new organization, High Opportunity Neighborhood Partners, seeking single family homes to rent to housing choice voucher holders, and Zillow, who is incorporating modified search tool to alert to local sorts of discrimination laws. For me, this conference has and always will bring up the thought of the great poet Maya Angelou: when you get, give; when you learn, teach. And here we have some real pioneers and innovators in this space we're really looking forward to the day, but beyond that, what opportunity awaits us with the Building Back Better Act. And I cannot exaggerate our enthusiasm and excitement about this really game-changing and once-in-a-generation investment. And so we're looking forward to the work, and thank you again to our partners in putting this on and all of you participating today. Thank you.